Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do I'm foreseeing it as a big mod. It's actually not really a mod, it's more of just an installation. We're going to install a Decha tube. And what is a Decha tube? A Decha tube is an intake tube that runs from the Airbox, which will mount on here, and this goes to the throttle body. So it's a much larger tube to have less restriction, to let the motor breathe better. And where does that go on the bike? That goes down in here. It is going to replace this tiny little tube that's here, and this comes off the back of the Airbox. We're also going to do a modification to the Airbox cover. I really like the TST design. It's big, it's open, lets ample air through there. But I also intend on riding this bike year round, and having this all open concerns me in the rain or in adverse weather. So I want to do a mod to the back side of it so that it can breathe better, compatible with the Decha tube, and still retain some of its weatherproofness, if you like, without having to draw air directly in from the blast coming from the front, which would be ideal, but not the best for the weather. So let's improve the Airbox cover so that the Decha tube can breathe properly, and then the engine gets all the air that it can possibly desire, and we should have the best performance from the intake side of things before we even get to the exhaust. No point improving the exhaust if the engine can't breathe. You have to get it in and get it out. If we can't get it in, no point worrying scavenging getting it out, and then we'll get into the exhaust mods afterwards. So TST do a great video on the Decha tube installation. No need for me to repeat all of that. They show you how to take off the panels, how to modify the Airbox, how to get an Airbox off, how to modify it. So let me get into taking all this apart, and we'll come back once I have all those pieces in my hand. We can compare the two tubes, and we can look at what the project looks like from that point. So I'll see you in a little bit as I get the bike taken apart. Yeah, it's quite an impressive difference between the tubes. You can see the small one on production, I just pulled the Airbox off, and the new Decha tube. So TST provide this bushing so that we can, when we pull this out, we have to modify it to this new diameter. So this is a template to be able to cut that. Also, when you look down inside, you can see that there is a shield around the intake boot, so that needs to be removed, and that's going to create a lot more air going into the motor. So there's the Decha tube installed. It actually fitted on pretty easily. It's not bolted up tight yet. I got the two Airbox screws in. There's one on this side, there's one on the other, but the Airbox floats around a little bit, and as it's also the structural mount for the body panels, I want to make sure that everything is fitted up tight before, or it fits well before I lock it all up tight. You can see this screw here doesn't quite line up at the moment, so I have to figure out the why of that. But the install is basically done. And now on to the cover. Full disclosure, I actually modified this before I got the tube because I wanted to experiment with it. So instead of having the little small opening, let me just go and grab that from over here. Kept it. So this is the original opening on a tube, on a small tube that fit down there onto the cover. And this is at the smallest point on the intake side. It was 28 millimeter. So this is now 38 millimeters, same size as the Decha tube, with a bell mouth on it, and all glued in. And I've actually done a ride with it already, and it's quite robust. I don't think it made any difference without the Decha tube in there. And the reason for this cutout here is clearance on the air cleaner. So when I drop in the air cleaner, I wanted to make sure that there was ample clearance on there. And I'm not sure how well you can see Probably is not enough light. But there's ample clearance. There's probably 15 mil, 10-15 mil of clearance between that tube and the air cleaner to make sure that we flood the air cleaner. You'll see this tin is removed from this side, the screen, and the idea is to get as much air in there as the engine could possibly want. So that needs to be at least the size of the Decha tube, considering also that the throttle body is only 24 millimeters. So this is more than adequate to dump as much air as it's going to possibly want in there. So I'll show you another picture when it's installed so you can see the clearance to the side panels and so forth. So here's the intake tube. No clearance issues with the side panel. When I fitted it, I also popped the black panel out here, and I'll show you a picture. It's got lots of clearance in it, but as you can see, that's a nice big bell mouth and lots of air to feed the airbox through the Decha tube into the carburetor. So, or the carburetor, sorry, into the throttle body. We'll take this out for a road test tomorrow morning and see if there's any noticeable difference. With the exhaust pipe showing up before the end of the week, I can get that on, but let's do the intake test first. As you can see, the bike has regressed a little bit since I finished the Airbox modifications. The Decha tube has been working very well. It's just a little bit of contact right there with the frame. I have to watch that over time to see what it's going to do. And you can't see anything from the other side, but the cover is proven good. When I did some testing before installing the exhaust pipe, some road testing, I found that it wasn't a drastic improvement. It made no difference to the sound of the bike, not with my helmet on. And as soon as the bike felt really similar, power characteristic delivery in fifth gear, around that 55 to 6500 RPM, where sometimes it felt a little flat initially. The one thing I did notice with the Airbox changes, both on the cover and the Decha tube, was that now the engine felt like it wanted to give a little bit more. You could feel that it was breathing a little bit better. It was getting more air. It didn't feel as stifled. That changed again with the exhaust pipe, but we'll get into that a little bit later when we cover the pipe itself. But the modifications have been good, and I definitely think that that's a solid base to start other modifications on. Without getting the air in, I don't think that we're doing an efficient job of letting the engine breathe and doing any other changes. I haven't done an ECU change, but it's definitely on the cards, and I think that the solid intake modification, then the exhaust, then we can start looking at doing other things inside the engine and getting a little bit more out of it. But I believe that the intake changes have been very positive and a good foundation for the rest of the bike. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. I'm going to have more stuff. As you can see, the bike is moving along. Just a little preview of some of the doodads on it, and it's going to be a work in progress over a period of time. Really enjoying it. They've already done an oil change on it, and moving along through the paces, putting it through its miles. I'm going to get some tires on it soon too, so look for all those videos coming up. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. Please comment down below. Any questions you have, any positives, negatives, let me know, and I'll get back to you guys and keep going with all this content. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.